Whoa, what is this place? Well, it's the world of IT and security, where we discuss the latest in corporate IT, security, upcoming technologies, and many more. This is something that I've been working for a very long time. So without further ado, let's get started. Happy New Year, everyone. Since this is our first episode, we're going to do a recap of the top 5 security and IT news of 2021, beginning with SecurityOnes. Well, let's start off with probably the biggest security news of 2021, which pretty much ruined the Christmas holidays for everyone that was involved in this. And that is Log4j vulnerability. So, what exactly is Log4j? Well, Log4j is an open source logging framework that allows software developers to log various data in their application, and it is a part of the overall Apache logging service. It's used by many organizations across the globe, including Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, well, you basically name it. It affects versions 2.0 to 2.14.1 and was identified by Alibaba cloud security guys in China. NIST then published a critical CVE, which is CVE 2021-4428 on the 10th of December. But here's the best part. When it was published with a CVSS rating of 10, which is the maximum possible number that can be assigned to such a vulnerability. This is why there was such a huge panic across the globe around it, because of its widespread usage and also the fact that this was identified as a critical vulnerability with a score of 10. While Apache organization and major software providers have provided multiple patches to fix this issue, this problem is far from over. There are still active vulnerabilities being identified and exploited by threat actors. I'll be keeping a very close watch on this, and we'll cover this in future episodes. Continuing with the theme of hacking, our next story is around the SolarWinds attack that began in 2020 but continued in 2021. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, state-sponsored attack on major US government installations that continued in 2021. Basically, SolarWinds has a product called the Orion that is used by not only the US government installations like the Pentagon, Department of Defense and others, but also by 18,000 plus customers across the globe. This attack, which started in early 2020, expanded even more in 2021, with SolarWinds themselves sending out patches and product upgrades that contained the compromised code, which allowed the threat actors to actually use this even more in 2021. The attack also highlighted the severe lack of readiness from SolarWinds and the US government, with key positions like CSO being absent for SolarWinds and the US government. Imagine there is not a single person in both these places managing the security of such critical products being used across the board. This can be seen by the fact that neither the US government nor SolarWinds had a clue that this attack was ongoing, but it was a private firm by the name of FireEye that actually caught this issue. This is a massive wake-up call for everyone across the globe, across all product lines, to understand that you need to have the proper organization structure, manpower, to make sure that such attacks are not only detected in time, but also remediated. Our next story is not necessarily a corporate security one, but could be a major one in the future. I'm talking about the Pegasus SMS attack, which came into the news heavily in the month of July. Basically, in July, questions were asked about the work of an Israeli-based cyber surveillance specialist called the NSO Group after the exposure of more than 35,000 phone numbers belonging to activists, journalists, political figures across the globe. While the NSO Group denies any wrongdoing and simply claimed that all the actions that they were doing was predominantly for anti-terrorist activities, it cannot be ignored that this tool can simply be used as a political vendetta for cyber surveillance, even though that person or those groups may not be doing anything wrong. This issue has become such a huge one for the NSO Group that it has hemorrhaged support and investment and is now subject to a US government sanction and also investigation. Okay, now moving on to the more conventional ones, Microsoft. Basically, in August, Microsoft came under fire after a series of miscommunications resulted in a situation where users and particularly admins failed to patch their Microsoft Exchange servers properly, leaving them exposed to 3 distinct vulnerabilities. While Microsoft did patch them eventually, the very fact that they did not disclose them properly or even assign a CVE number to such a huge vulnerability shows the lack of preparation and also operational management for such security issues. It meant that these security teams missed significantly until much later by the time which a lot of damage was done. This is not the only goof up that Microsoft did in case of security patching. Print Nightmare was another big issue wherein a print spool exploit allowed hackers to remotely access the network. This also resulted in multiple patches being issued by Microsoft one after the other, resulting in loss of confidence and also making the life of these admins a living hell. For our last story in the security news for 2021, the rapid increase in the ransomware attacks for the critical infrastructure is a huge issue that is becoming more and more prevalent and more frequent. In 2021, we saw major oil pipelines, water, electricity, and other critical national infrastructure being targeted by these threat actors and state-sponsored attacks. Okay, so these were the top 5 security news and events of 2021 in my view. This is my list. You may have a different one. Comment down below if you think that there is other security events that you think were worthy enough to cover in such an episode. We will surely try to cover them in the future. 2021 showed that the issues with security, the loopholes, the vulnerabilities, and the required effort, manpower is only increasing by the day. With the expansion of 5G, interconnection, IoT, and others, security is not just a necessity, it is the most important thing going forward. I cannot express how critical this is going to be. 2022 is going to be even more exciting and somewhat troubling given the news that we saw in 2021. That's it for today, guys. We'll cover the top 5 IT news in our next episode, which is coming on Sunday. Do provide your feedback in the comment section below. It will help make the channel better and provide more relevant information and news to you going forward. Subscribe to the channel and please like the video to show your love and appreciation. You can also follow me on Twitter at Prashant_ITSH, where I'll be posting some real-time updates and the news which are happening in the world of IT and security. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. The link is given in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay secure, keep patching, and I'll see you on Sunday.